Tonight finds me in the attic of the shop again, pulling apart something different. Today, I decided to pull apart an old Eureka vacuum cleaner that we had. It's getting to the point where it just doesn't do its job very well, and part of that is due to the brushes being worn down, the brush on the motor itself. When we started, they were a little bit longer than this and actually did their job, and the adjustments on the wheel housing also have worn out, and so it no longer drops down low enough to vacuum. So I decided to salvage what I can from it, and unfortunately vacuum cleaners are not that exciting. Typically what you get some pieces of hose. It's medium quality, it's decent hose. You can use it. You get a piece of cord, whatever the length the vacuum cleaner cord was, and of course the switch, which I need to look at it instead of looking at the video screen. And the switch is just, a 30-cent switch. You get a handful of screws that are designed to screw into plastic, but work very well in wood as well. A small halogen light carriage, operates at 120 volts. It's decent for what it is, but these things get hot and burn out quite frequently if subjected to vibration. And of course you get the vacuum cleaner brush, if you can think of anything to use that for. I will probably hang on to it because it is a pretty nice looking piece of wood under all this black. You can see the grain. It's probably, I'm going to say it's probably maple. I hope that it is. It'll be interesting if it is. If not, then it'll be something in the junk drawer. You also get the vacuum motor itself. It's literally a all-in-one unit. It's got a small metal or plastic impeller. It looks like this one is actually metal, so this was a Eureka with a metal impeller. I'm pretty impressed by that. I'm not impressed by the motor because these same motors have been found by me in vacuum cleaners as old as the 60s, so it's not much of a change. When the belt slips on these, it heats up that shaft. See the bluing from the heat. But if you want to make a small dust collector or a fume exhaust, then this is your ticket right here. They do a very good job, and they vacuum. They haven't got the CFM that a dust blower or an actual dust collector would have. But for small jobs, they do quite well. The key to a vacuum cleaner is actually the brushes. The brushes vibrate the carpet and throw the lint and stuff up into the path of the air, and it gets sucked up through into the canister. So vacuum cleaners are typically worth it to pull apart, but you don't get a whole lot from them. The screws are, they can be pretty valuable. These types of screws go missing a lot in parts as we take them apart and fix things. So I usually hang on to these. They actually screw into wood quite well as well, and they are very good at holding. They do have a Torx head, so you're going to have to be prepared for that. A few other things to note. The canister lift mechanism. You turn this little lever here, and it actually lifts the plate up and lowers it down, which is hard to do one-handed. And that would seal the canister itself up and down. I will probably save a few of the gaskets, the shaft right here, and these little wheels. Might save the big wheels too, but I don't know yet. As you can see, it's been sitting in the shop for a while and has collected some spider egg sacs and some sawdust, but that's to be expected. And I leaned on my cord, that's why my light flickered there. So it's worth it to pull one apart. So if you see it at the side of the road, 9 times out of 10, when I find them on the side of the road, it just needs a new belt. Belts don't cost a lot, and so if you need a vacuum cleaner and you find one at the side of the road and you plug it in, it makes noise but doesn't suck, or the brushes don't move. That's probably all it is. And if it doesn't suck, still, you could pull it apart and take a look at it, because sometimes there's a small thermal fuse, which is this meaty thing here, that will pop, and you have to replace that little piece there, which means your soldering skills will have to be on point. But that's not an expensive thing to replace. Usually costs about 30 cents. Might cost as much as $5 if you get to ship it, but usually worth salvaging. This one, however, was not, as the adjustments were wearing out, and the hose hookup was wearing out as well. So there we go. That's what we get out of a vacuum cleaner, and what's actually salvageable. Now, there's a few other key things that I might salvage, like the original hookup for this plastic piece here, which is the rectangle there, and its gasket, so that I might hook it up to a bucket or something if I would like to make a bee sucker, a bee vacuum in the future. But that's just about it. I think that's everything that you can sufficiently salvage. All of that is ABS plastic, and will go to the recycling yard. And there was no metal left in that. I took everything out except for the aluminum thing. It's just tape. It'll peel right off. So I'll take that to the recycling yard, and everything else is keepable and usable in the shop.